everybody, it's Miss H. I'm so glad it's time for us to have library, but I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I've been reading lots of books at my house and coloring some pictures and playing with my sister. I hope you're doing okay too. So, what we're going to be talking about today in library is a very special kind of writing called poetry. Do you know what poetry is? What is a poem? A poem is a very special kind of writing. It's usually a little bit shorter than a regular storybook. Do you remember the poems we read on the page before this? So, those poems were shorter than if I was reading a whole book to you, but a poem can be longer too. What makes a poem special, what makes it different from a regular piece of writing, is that poems usually use something called rhythm. Do you know what rhythm is? Have you talked about it with Mrs. Preuss? Rhythm is what makes something you're reading or something that you're saying sound almost like a song. So I'm going to clap my hands to show you the rhythm, and then I'm going to ask you to clap your hands along with me, okay? So the poem that I'm going to read is Humpty Dumpty. So I read it on the last page, and if you know it, you can say it along with me, okay? So when I clap my hands, I'm doing the rhythm. Ready? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Good job! So, when I was clapping my hands, I was showing you the rhythm. So the person who wrote that poem was using the rhythm to make it into a poem. Do you know what it's called? Someone who writes a poem? They're called a poet. And anybody can be a poet. I can be a poet. You can be a poet. Almost, you can make a poem about anything. Another thing that lots of poets like to do with their poems is they like to use rhyming words, okay? So lots of poems have rhyming words. Now I know you've talked about rhyming words with your regular teachers. So I'm going to read another poem, and I want you to see if you can pick out the rhyming words. I'm still going to clap my hands too. Ready? Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and scared Miss Muffet away. Good. So, did you hear any rhyming words in that poem? What about she was eating her curds and whey, and it scared her away? So, way and away. Those words rhyme. Can you think of any words that rhyme with way and away? I can think of a couple. What about day or stay or tray? Those are all rhyming words. So, there's lots of stories that you already know that are poems. Stories like The Cat in the Hat are poems because when you read them, use the rhythm and use the rhyming words. Now, I know a lot of you have done rhyming words before, so I put some rhyming games in the rest of this lesson, so you can click on those to play. Before we do that though, I am going to read you a story that I really, really like. So click on the next page, and I'm going to read you one of my very favorite poems, and then you can keep going.